Is the real estate market changing? Let me share my update. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Rennick. I'm the team lead, the senior broker of Team Rennick. We're part of that great Mangrove Realty Associates family. The reason I do these monthly updates is to address questions I get asked throughout the month. Last month I shared that we were on the verge of the market changing. We saw the pendings were falling. Nationally, the market is starting to change. Now I'm seeing it in Florida. Let's talk about the numbers. We've got the slide up on the video as I talk here, but we see sales that have traditionally been up this year over last year, anywhere in the 40s, 80s%, high numbers over last year. Sales for the first time have fallen 8% from a year ago. I'm talking Sarasota and Manatee County. I'm talking about all types of properties. So sales have fallen year to year. And I look at year to year because of the cycles we see with seasons here. Let's take a look at pendings. I shared last month pendings were down 8%. First time they have fallen from a year ago. We've seen anywhere from 30s, 100%, 20% above. They're down 18%. Pendings are the sales that are going to occur in the next 30 to 60 days. We are starting to see a downturn in sales. But what does that mean? Are prices changing? Nope. Prices are up 30% over last year. As you see across the charts, they've been up 20s, 30s, 40s. So prices are consistently staying over last year's levels. That's not happening in terms of the sales. Days on the market down 71%. We consistently see days on the market falling. Months of inventory down 68%. Now, the months of inventory are coming up a little bit relative to last year. So we are seeing some changes. Does this mean it's a buyer's market? Absolutely not. Not yet. Still a seller's market. When there's less than 6 months of inventory on the market, we call it a seller's market at that time. They're in the driver's seat. Well, let's go a little bit deeper. Sales in Sarasota, Manatee County. And this is August, data released in August, effective through or good through the end of July. Sales were 2,280 units. The number of pendings were 2,061. Prices we see have risen from $216 per square foot last year to $281 this year. Days on the market are at 23. That means if you list something, if it's priced appropriately in what I'll say this crazy market, if it's priced appropriately for that, it is selling super fast. 3 weeks. Months of inventory, as the chart shows, we're down right now 68%. There's less than a month of inventory on the market. So what's happening nationally? Things happen on a national basis, and then Florida tends to lag that because of the type of market we have with folks buying from all over the globe. If we look at Mark Hackett, Chief of Investment Research at Nationwide, when you have a void of information, emotion tends to drive decision making. So let's talk about that. Are we in a housing bubble? I get asked that question all the time. Dr. Frank Nothit, chief economist at CoreLogic, says, and I quote, "There are marked differences in today's run-up in prices compared to 2005, which was a bubble fueled by risky loans and lenient underwriting. Today, the loans are high risk with high-risk features are absent, and mortgage underwriting is prudent." So we're not seeing the crisis we occurred in 2008, 9, and 10 had to do with a lot of the fact folks were getting approved for loans that they really couldn't afford. That's not in the market today. If we look at today at mortgage originations with a FICO score of less than 620, back in the heyday, it was $376 billion. Today, it's only $74 billion. Let's take a look at what the state of in the article State of the Nation's Housing 2021, published by the Joint Center of Housing Studies at Harvard. And I quote, "These outsized increases have raised concerns that a home price bubble is emerging. However, conditions today are quite different than in the early 2000s, particularly in terms of credit availability. The current climb in home prices instead reflects strong demand and tight supply, helped along by record low interest rates." Is there a housing bubble? Let's take a look at the mortgage debt. On this chart, we see total quarterly required mortgage payments divided by total quarterly disposable income. Mortgage debt over income. Back in the housing bubble, it was over 7%. Today, it's below 4%, significant decrease. Housing bubble, absolutely not. This is a supply and demand problem that we're facing. If we look at Sam Cater, VP and Chief Economist, Economic and Housing Research at Freddie Mac, and I quote, the main driver of the housing shortfall has been long-term decline in the construction of single-family homes. Looking at the chart right now that we see in the green, there's been 13 consecutive years below our 50-year average. Forbearance, let's take a quick look at that. Today, if you look at the chart, forbearance, the original projection was about 30% of the loans. Today, it's less than 3.5%. Let me summarize this way. The experts are saying, and I believe, prices are not going to fall down the road. The dynamics are not there in the market. The rate of increase will slow down, but it won't fall backwards like we experienced in the early 2000s. So is now a good time to buy? Absolutely, because a year from now and 2 years from now, they're projecting that the prices will be higher than they are today. The market will more level out between buyers and sellers, but we are in a changing dynamic. The forbearance issue isn't there. Potential foreclosure issue isn't there. The risky loans aren't there. Cash is plentiful right now. So when we put all that together in the pot and we stir it up and we mix it, the outlook for the housing market is strong. I do believe, and the experts are forecasting, that supply and demand will come more in line, try to come back to a more neutralized market where each side has a fair chance. But we're not there yet. Things are moving in that direction. If you have any questions, give me a call. Your real estate broker needs to understand the market. That's how a plan can be developed so that you can win whether you're selling or buying. Even in this crazy market, you need a broker that understands how to sell your home as well as if you're a buyer. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We need to dig deeper into the area that you're looking to participate in a transaction. Feel free to give me a call. Again, Mike Rennick, 941-400-8735. Thanks for watching, everyone.